Welcome back to the Michigan Business Beat, brought to you on the Michigan Business Network. Chris Holman here, coming to you from our studios at the Capital Region International Airport. And we're going to run down to Southfield, Michigan right now. As a matter of fact, Troy Baker is going to join us. He is the Vice President of Strategic Partnerships and Market Expansion with the Better Business Bureau. And we used to have to say the Better Business Bureau of East Michigan or the Better Business Bureau of West Michigan, which we don't have to do anymore. Troy, could you explain that?
Yeah. So last month, about a month and a half ago now, the Better Business Bureaus merged into a single Better Business Bureau of Michigan, covering 80 of Michigan's 83 counties. We don't control the sections in Monroe, Hillsdale, and Lenawee counties, but the rest of the state is all one combined Better Business Bureau now.
Okay, so let's talk a little bit about a creation coming out of there. What inspired the creation of the Better Business Bureau Trades Scholarship, and how does that align with BBB's broader mission?
Yeah, so this is something that came up on the west side about a year ago, and we did it last year, and we're able to award 9 scholarships to young people entering the trades. It came about actually through some conversations. We've long had a college scholarship, but really struggled to find how do you translate that to young people going into the trades. You can't just give a check to whoever, like you can at college and say, here, this helps pay for tuition. So how do you translate that? And through a conversation with one of our board members, the idea came up to reimburse those startup costs. So those things that young people need, maybe it's steel-toed boots or warm weather gear or tool belts or tools or whatever it may need as those startup costs for a young person to get into the trades. So we reimburse those costs and really give them a good head start into what we hope is a long and prosperous career.
It's kind of interesting because people don't realize those little things can sometimes be the bar too high to enter.
It is. When you think about a lot of young people going into the trades, these are people that are looking for a career. And, sometimes they've got to pay their own rent. They're just out of school in many cases, or they're young people looking, college didn't work out. They're looking for something else. Money is tight. And to say, okay, well, you need to go spend $400, $500 on equipment so that you can be successful, that is a large bar to clear. So this makes it a little bit easier. We don't just cut them a check, we reimburse the cost. So they actually have to give us receipts. We're not just writing blank checks to people, but we are helping them. And what we have found, though, is the businesses they work for, in many cases, are saying, okay, we know the funding is there, so we'll cover the costs, and then the Better Business Bureau can reimburse the business, so it doesn't have to come out of the kid's pocket. That's a great way that businesses are helping expand this and make it even easier for young people.
So can you kind of walk us through the eligibility criteria in the application process?
Yeah, it is really simple. It is 20 years old or younger, working at a BBB accredited business in the trades. And we take a pretty expansive list of trades, everything from the construction and automotive to landscaping and garage doors. If you're out working with your hands, it's probably going to get covered in some way. So 20 years old or younger, working at a BBB accredited business within one of these trades for 1 year or less. You fill out the application, which is really simple. It's information about you and your employer, why you got into this trade. We're really looking for people that want to do this. We're not looking for somebody who says, well, I could go work at McDonald's or I could go into construction. We want people that want to go into these trades and have a passion for it, and support them. And then what you would buy with the money if you were to receive the scholarship. We want to know and we want to judge, okay, this really is stuff that you need. And we have a group of external judges that rate that and decide, okay, yes, they really need that. No, they don't need that for what they're going into. And we're going to try to reach as many young people as we can with the funds available.
So one of the important things about doing programs like this is the metric for measuring success, right? So,
Yeah.
so what impact have you seen from last year's scholarship awards?
Yeah, so we were able to do 9 scholarships last year, a little under $8,000 to young people. And when I talk to them, they are absolutely thrilled. There's a kid in Traverse City who ended up with boots and warm weather gear. And you're working in northern Michigan in the winter,
Yeah.
you need that stuff. auto mechanic in Ionia, who, if anybody who knows anything about being an auto repair and all the tools that you need, this really got him that start that he needs for a long career. And my favorite is a young guy down in Battle Creek working for a machine company, heating and cooling company, who it looked like a clown car with all the tools coming out of his bag for the stuff that he bought. But when I talked to him, he says he wouldn't be able to do half the things he does without all the tools. And then the biggest part of this, I talked to his boss, and he's exactly the employee that they want. They're actually looking at training him to go into a leadership position in the future. And that's what we hope, is that this can help support businesses in finding and retaining those young employees that are a lifelong member of their organization.
Well, this stuff is extremely important to the skilled trades as well as those kids getting the scholarships. And thank you for doing this. Troy Baker, it's always good to see you, my friend, Vice President of Strategic Partnerships and Market Expansion at the Better Business Bureau of Michigan. All right. All right, bud. Good to have you on. Thanks. You've been watching this on the Michigan Business Beat. This is the Michigan Business Network. I'm Chris Holman. We'll be back with more.